just my reaction for the England versus Argentina game, and it was not as I was expected. The first half started off pretty much as I expected in terms of England and Argentina were both kind of chirpy with each other, both trying to establish dominance in terms of who kind of maintains possession, who controls the game. And there was a lot of fouls, and then you got to half time, and I think that once the teams went in for their breaks, after coming out, England did manage to get some good possession and score a goal. And what led to that was Harry Kane dropping back into midfield. That kind of really disrupted Argentina's plan for defending and structure, and England scored their goal. And that was, to me, like the end of England as a team, because what they basically did at that point is they reverted into a low block, and then after 55 minutes of the game, or with the remaining 35 minutes or so, just decided to sit back in a low block. And every time Argentina kept pressing, England just sat further and further back. They didn't use any of their physicality, they didn't use any of their speed, they didn't use any of their legs. And one thing that England had that Argentina didn't have is that England had abundance of youth in their team, and they didn't capitalize on it at all. What England were doing is basically they were relying on, I'm not sure to be honest what they were relying upon, because they just sat back in a low block. They didn't really use any of the legs and energy that the players had. Elliot Anderson had a really good game in the middle of the park, but he was just kind of in the second half just a bystander as Argentina moved the ball so elegantly and so fluently around the English team. So how's Argentina? So generally speaking, over the World Cup, I wasn't impressed with them, because they really played some weak opponents, some weak teams, nothing that to write home about. And there was a lot of controversy in terms of calls that they got, VAR decisions, so on and so forth. But today there wasn't really any of that. There's nothing that we can go back and say, oh, England were unlucky because of a certain decision, or Argentina were lucky because of a certain decision. It was basically once England scored, they decided to stop playing, they packed up shop, and then Argentina just went to work. And Messi, wow, what a spectacle, what a performance he put on today. He basically just said to England, look, you guys are great with your physicality, but I'm going to use my footballing IQ and just out maneuver you guys. Because so what Messi basically did is as the second half went on, same thing what he did with Egypt. He kind of drifted to the right wing and then basically went to work, looking at any time England tried to establish a 2-on-1 situation. When he did that, he kind of really helped isolate England's left back. In that case, it was Jed Spence who was isolated, and that kind of really helped Argentina kind of really establish that dominance. So for the first goal that they scored, because they already had the overload, England were kind of in panic mode and were sitting deep back. And when that corner came in, they were worried about what Messi was doing, and that gave Enzo and the other players all the space that they needed, and that was kind of what led to that goal. And then, and to be honest, when you look back on it, it was almost like Enzo Fernandez took a free kick, because he received the ball, there was no player within 10 yards, he was able to stop the ball and trap it, and then basically take a shot at goal and score. And I can't believe there was no one there to close him down. And then from there, it was just panic mode, same as other games in the past at the World Cup, where Argentina were losing earlier on. But once they got that momentum, it was lights out. It was lights out for the opposition, because the momentum was against them, and Argentina went to work and finished the game off. And Messi, with a right-foot cross, which is unexpected, basically put the dagger in to England, and that was 2-1 and game over. Now we look forward to the final, which is going to be very interesting, because it's going to be two teams with a similar style, basically love to control possession, hustle back and win the ball back quickly, and it's going to be the battle between Lamine Yamal and Messi. So is it the heir and heir apparent? Well, we will see what happens this Sunday.